Hey, good morning, traders. So I'm going to give a quick brief video, my thought process coming into today's session. So we had the jobs number here, and of course the unemployment rate was far lower than what it needs to be for the Fed to pivot. Okay, so the markets initial reaction on the markets is very bearish. Uh, throwing out the idea that we might see a reduction in the rate hike, the rate of rate hike. Okay. So I'm starting with my USD Jpy. I was watching this last night here. So what we had on a daily time frame yesterday, we had the highest closing print on JPY versus the dollar. This is not a bullish scenario. This is a bearish scenario. So the yen's even getting weaker versus the dollar. So as the dollar is appreciating, the yen is depreciating. So this is a major forex pair correlation to show to give some idea of the health of the global economy. Okay, this is a bellwether, and the fact that we were putting in that new high going into the jobs number, that was a tell, in my opinion, that things were not looking too high here. Okay, then I was also watching this morning the VX futures this morning, and let me zoom in here real quick, and you guys can see my chart. So as I had mentioned, this critical arc here, that is your critical resistance. Okay, that we went into. Now it looks like we're building out a cup and handle. You know, on this trend line, potential trend line going into next week for a potential breakout again. So we don't know for sure that's going to happen, but this does look like a cup and handle for a potential breakout in Euro VX futures. From what we are seeing in today's price action. So we'll see where the VIX actually closes near the day. I think you're going to be closing near the 31 or even higher, maybe possibly up to the 31.30 area here. And ultimately, typically when it gets up, if it gets above that trend line, it's really good odds we could be up here at the 31.80. So, we got to see really close here, see if they want to take on insurance going into the weekend, which I think they will. So let's just keep that in the back of our mind here. We do have China reopening next week. Markets have rallied pretty hard here. So maybe China wants to do a catch up with the rest of the global community and we get a rally out of China. So that might put the brakes on the bearishness to go into the end of our session. The realization that China may have to do a bullish catch up, and Monday being potentially a less bearish scenario than what we typically would otherwise see. So just keep that in the back of your mind here on these markets as you're going into the afternoon session. Okay. Now on the ES futures here. This is my fib arcs and stuff, which I've been trading with. Everybody knows that I have a 3,400 target, uh, going out in time here for, you see how this unity is hits at the 3,600 here, but I have a 3,400 target. Let me show you a different view here real quick. So my main takeaway here, what I got going on here on this, there were some people on this morning on Bloomberg talking about, well, we saw institutional buying coming in here on relief rally. I call it bullshit. What we saw this week is institutional selling right here. This is Head and Shoulders. This was the shoulder area. We saw institutional selling right here at that shoulder area. And if you go on a daily time frame, and I'll zoom in here on my daily, okay, and it's really telling what's going on here. You see, maybe it's the 1 hour. I can't remember. Maybe I'll double check it here. It is pretty darn telling here. That there's selling pressure. You significant selling pressure happening up here into this trend line right here. Okay. And so now we got the jobs numbers out here rejecting. I don't think we're at support yet. I think there's a really good chance we're going to, really the 3660 area is really a logical place that we close the day out here. Possibly, I do have a target all the way down to 3636 here today. So, my trend lines come down here to the 3660. So now I'm going to go into my trades real quick here. I'm going to put this box on my chart here real quick. But yeah, this is a very good odds that we're going to be down here 3660 here in just a little bit. for a hard test of critical support areas. And then we get into a lot of congestion down here. So, but the easy money is to 3660. If you're short, stay short to at least that area. With a defined stop. But like I said, China's reopening show that might prove to be a catalyst for the close. So we have to keep that in the back of our mind. Okay, guys. So basically, I had 3 trades today. I really loaded the boat on Tesla. I had Nvidia and I had Boeing, and I was calling Boeing out first. Then I started calling out Tesla. Boeing was a really good winner for me today. Okay, and so I'm going to start with Boeing. That was the first trade I put on this morning. I put it on right out the gate here. I had identified a sell signal in the broader markets. We had a sell signal. We were opening below the 3780 area. So, obviously my bias was to the bearish side. And uh, what I identified this gap down here, okay, and the bearishness in the markets, and we were moving away from my fib arc. So we were opening away from my fib arc, gap below us. I really like this setup for a short setup. Okay, that's why I took the trade, knowing that if we started taking out the day highs, this high print right here, the 132.80 area. If we started accepting prices above that, that would be my stop. Okay, for the short side. So I got this soon out of the gate this morning. It went against me a little bit for a little while, and then it just paid off real big. I got out right down here at the lows. Really nice trade here on Boeing. That's why I took it, and you know, uh, I like these moves away from critical, with a gap, a near-term gap. I love this scenario, but you have to be on the right side of the broader market. If the broader market was bullish, you wouldn't want to take this trade, but the broader market was bearish, and so that's why I felt comfortable taking this trade. Okay, and then in addition to that, if I go over here to my diamonds and I go over here on my Ichimoku this morning, and I had done this in my morning video, and I showed you guys this. Uh, we were actually opening below the cloud on both my standard Ichimoku on the 1 hour and my momentum Ichimoku. So so I was using the Dow, realizing the Dow was closing on the bearish side of the Ichi, plus the setup, to decide to make my decision on the trade. That's why I really like that setup on Boeing. Then I did Tesla also. Okay, now Tesla, what I was doing on that. Let me start with the Qs. Okay, similar situation. We were seeing the same pattern here. Qs were actually looking a lot worse because we've had a big red. So we were opening right here, bottom of our cloud. Okay, or no, we were open way down here actually. Yeah, we opened way down here. I'm sorry, and well below our cloud. So we had a bearish scenario for our Qs. Okay, and when I trade, I look for the worst chart setup, for that trend. Tesla and AMD fit the bill. Okay, so this morning we were well below bearish cloud, well below it. Okay, and we were right here on trend support. We were breaking that trend support on the opening print this morning. We had violated these prior lows on the opening print. We were violating the week lows here, and we were below this trend line. All suggesting continuation lower on Tesla. Okay, and how I exited the trade. Let me go over here, maximize. We'll go down here on a zoom in here. Well, I'm just going to put like 15 minute. Okay, 15 minute. So what I saw, I realized that we were. Let me go 5 minute. It's 5 minute chart I used earlier today. Okay. And see what I had identified here. Activate. You see this trend line break right here? So basically, I took the break down to the 78.6, and then we found support. See how we bull flagged? We bear flagged right at the 78.6. So I had already had my trend lines already drawn out. I just did a measured move on that. And all I'm trying to do during the course of the day is define these quick move setups into support. I identified the 78.6. We came up here. This created a new short scenario right here down to this 61.8. Ultimately, I was really targeting the 61.8, and I could have stayed in the trade. There's no question about it. I could have definitely stayed in this trade for the 61.8 move. But I had a very large position, and I was very pleased with what I had already made. So I, just in case I was wrong and the markets absolutely reversed in my face, I was just more than willing to take that trade and just call it a day. Okay. And as you guys can see, I made, over 10 grand on that trade. So, it was a really, really good day. Okay. On that. Now, I also we knew the AMD news was bad. And so what I was looking at here, I really quickly came over here, SMH. SMH is your top, uh, and so basically what we had going on here on our SMH, see how green. This is why I was a little bit on the fence here on the whole semiconductor short idea. See, you had this really wide green, we had really wide green. In my opinion, the semis, the news was not ready for a sell side drag down into markets. So, I didn't go in large size by no means on the Nvidia trade, but I was looking at this and I was like, yeah, if AMD's the most bearish because of their guidance, but the semiconductors by themselves aren't that bad. Okay, so I was looking at AMD. I really don't have my charts set up for AMD here, and I just wasn't really comfortable about going short in the hoe. So we had this pre-market initial reaction here, and I just did not feel overly comfortable about just doing AMD itself. Okay, so what I did NVIDIA. I went NVIDIA, see, and what we had going on here this morning on NVIDIA. Uh, the reason I took this trade, uh, this is very similar to the SMH. We were below a trend line, okay? So we were acting below this trend line. So I was thinking SMH to me seemed like you weren't actually, buying way down here away from the trend line. You were still really close to this trend line for a potential move. Uh, I knew where my stop was going to be, okay, if it did go against me, okay. And as you notice, I did lose a little bit of money on the trade because it did come back up into these moving averages and stuff. And I just said, forget it. I've made good money on the other stuff. That's why I got out. But that's the reasoning why I took this trade. And we were also fighting our monthly 50 here. So now we're finally breaking down away from that. So now we're actually getting the short signal for NVIDIA into the afternoon session because we are potentially breaking away from the 50 monthly. So be aware of that going into the rest of the trading session. It's probably a better odds trade now than it was this morning whenever I actually took the trade. So, so that's just a quick rundown what how I traded this morning, the reasoning for it. And intraday now, what you want to do is be using your volume charts and see if we got large volume coming in here selling on Nvidia. So Nvidia looks like it could be a trending trade the rest of the day here, getting an initial sell side signal on that. So this could be a very powerful short for the rest of the day. Tesla, we're not actually getting that new sell side action above average volume, but so you don't want to be short in that one. Nvidia, you do. AMD, we've just got a new sell side signal on that one too. Legs are going lower. We're breaking that initial move down. So this here could be a trender for the rest of the day. Apple. Zoom in here on Apple here. Apple's really not giving us anything here. You see that, guys? You're not really getting any outside candle spikes here to the downside. So be aware of that. So you know right now you want to be short in your semis for the afternoon. It's quick and dirty. Boeing, is we getting anything on Boeing here? Not really getting anything on Boeing. Don't want to be messing with that. Microsoft. Well, we did have a downgrade on Google today too, so we'll check that out too. Not getting anything. Google. Not really getting anything. Don't want to mess with it. And it's really that easy. Meta. Not getting anything. Don't want to mess with it. Okay. Amazon. Amazon. There you go. Sell. Somebody's selling right here into Amazon. We got a triple bottom. Big sell order just hit. You just hit on Amazon. This thing here is likely to break day lows. Amazon. So you can probably might be able to get in early here, knowing that your stop now, you're probably looking at right up here. You can probably put a stop up here, 116.30, 116.35, and just see if Apple's going to continue lower here. Amazon looks like a really good short. Okay, so there you go. Some of the things I'm looking at right here, real quick. So good luck, guys. Like my video if you like it, and please leave comments below. Thanks a lot, guys.